Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have had my baby. So today I am going to be doing my birth story about my baby girl. So I actually was due on the 24th of October and ended up going over. So I ended up having her on the 3rd of November. So I ended up being 41 and 3 days and I was over it, very much over it. I couldn't believe that I hadn't had her already. I was very sure that I was going to have her a lot sooner than anticipated, but anything I tried, it just didn't work. So unfortunately, I did have to get induced, which wasn't a big deal, but I just wanted to be able to go into having her naturally, as in not having to be induced, but it worked out fine anyway. So I actually have some notes here because I am so forgetful. She's only, what is she, just over 2 weeks old now, and I can't remember what I did yesterday, so I had to write down some of these notes so I can have a little bit of a guide on actually what happened. So yeah, I had her 3rd of November and she was delivered at 1:40 p.m. so that was Melbourne Cup Day. Obviously I had a little girl, her name is Chloe Lee, and she was 3.670 grams and 52 centimeters. So she was very similar to what I was when I was born, a little bit bigger than our boy Ari, and my labor was only 4 hours after I was induced. So ended up, I'll backtrack and just, I won't be specific about all the dates and stuff, but just a rough guide, just so I do get my birth story correct. So I ended up, due the 24th of October, ended up having an antenatal on the 27th of October, and that was for just a checkup, and I ended up getting a stretch and sweep, and I was only 1 centimeter dilated then, which is literally nothing. So ended up having a appointment with the doctors booked in for the following week, just if nothing happened prior to that, and I was going to be induced, which ended up happening. Ended up going in on the 2nd of November to be induced around lunchtime. Ended up having the cervidil tape put in, which helped soften the cervix ready for labor. So ended up having that put in and nothing happened overnight. So next morning they were to check to see whether or not I had dilated, and I actually, before the nurses or any of the doctors saw me, I actually started having contractions that morning at around 6:30, and I have an app that I was timing because I wasn't quite sure whether they were labour pains or not, or whether it was just a random pain that I was having. So I ended up timing it, and it ended up being quite active contractions. So that was really exciting because it meant that my body was reacting to the tape, whereas I did end up getting induced with my first birth, which was with my son, and ended up not reacting to the tape. So it ended up being like a 2 to 3 day period of trying to be induced and getting my cervix dilated. So I was stoked that the tape had worked. Now, I ended up being taken over to the birth ward, where that's when they broke my waters. So it ended up being, a really quick labour, because once my waters had broken, that's when my body had reacted quite well. But I did want to opt for not having been put on the drip to create the contractions, because that last time that I did it brought on my contractions like you wouldn't believe, and I just wasn't coping. So I ended up having to go for the epidural last labour, whereas this time round I was able to go for about an hour without having the drip, and I was reacting, but not as much as they would have liked. So ended up getting put on the drip, but the drip was quite low dosage, which was just enough to get me by. So I was coping quite well between the contractions, and I was just using the gas, and it was just getting me by. So I didn't need the epidural probably halfway into it, and I was feeling quite good because I was coping in between contractions. So I ended up position wise I wanted to be quite mobile. That was my reasoning for not wanting to have the epidural, because I would like to have been able to try different positions just to see if it did help with any of the pain. And I ended up sitting on the ball at the end of the hospital bed, and that way I could move on the ball just to help to take away some of those pains during the contractions. And me and my partner, he was helping. So the rubbing motion on your back, it makes all the difference. Like, I don't know whether it's just that you feel that support there, or the massage actually does help. So yeah, it definitely made a difference this time. So yeah, doing the rocking on the ball and being able to sit at the end of the bed, so the leaning over motion was quite helpful as well. So I can't tell you how long I did that for. It probably was a couple of hours. Like I said, I'm not great with the time frame of everything, but ended up changing positions, and I ended up going onto the bed, but onto the back of the bed frame. So I ended up leaning over the back of the bed board and sucking on that gas. I got to the point where I was sucking the absolute life out of this gas machine, and they had it cranking pretty high, and it was necessary because it was getting to the point where I was really opting for the epidural, because this time round I was feeling it like you wouldn't believe. And very different experience to my first time round, being that I did end up having the epidural. So you know, lying flat on your back, not having any pains at all, but this time round it was just, I was feeling the contractions and I was feeling like I needed to push, whereas first time round wasn't making much noise, whereas this time around I was groaning like you wouldn't believe. And we actually did get some footage of the birth, so I will put it in at some point during this video, but I'm not quite sure where yet. It is quite emotional in some of the video, so I find it a little bit hard to look back over. Get you every time. Anyway, pull yourself together, woman. Anyway, I'm not much of a crier, but since becoming a mum, I cry at everything. So if you're about to be a mum, that's what's going to happen to you. Anyway, I ended up getting some footage, so we are going to put that into the video at some point. And like I said, I won't be putting anything too revealing or too gruesome into it, because I think we just need to keep it a little bit G-rated, and some of it is a bit private too. So I'll put in what I can, and that way you get a little bit of an idea of what people experience during their labour, because everyone's experience is different. So yeah, like I said, the images that you might see will just be me on the back of the headboard, and that was just me sucking on the gas. And that was that's my partner in the clip as well. He was great, so supportive. I don't know how people do it without the support. I know that, you know, you've got to cope with whatever life deals you, but definitely know that his support made all the difference. So I did end up getting to the point where I was like wanting the epidural. So I was about 8 centimeters, I think, dilated. So yeah, midwives were like, no, you're not gonna have enough, well, you probably won't have enough time. So they didn't say no to me, but they said you probably wouldn't have enough time. So yeah, ended up changing positions. I ended up going onto my back, onto the bed, and ready to start pushing, because I was feeling that gravity of the baby coming down. Yeah, so I ended up on my back, and I was, like I said, I don't remember how long everything was going for, but yeah, was starting to push, and she was ready to come out pretty quick. So everything happened pretty quick. So yeah, she had a little bit of bruising and stuff because of how quick she came out, and her little eyes and everything were a little bit bloodshot because of that. but she was delivered healthy and well, and we did the skin to skin. It was pretty emotional. Like I said, the video will, you know, might it might make some people, you know, a little bit teary in that, which, like I said, it's my birth video, so I get emotional about it. But I am only over 2 weeks postpartum as well, so all the tears, all the hormones, and yeah, that's mum life for you. So we were just so shocked. We could not believe that we ended up having a girl. We were pretty sure that we were going to have a boy because our first baby was a boy, and we kind of thought it was going to be a girl first time round. Who's to know what you're going to have? I don't believe you can always know, but yeah, this time around I really thought that we were going to have another boy, just because I just thought we were boy breeders. So I was just blown away to think that we'd had a girl. So yeah, we got the pigeon pair. So I didn't end up having any stitches, which I was very shocked by, because I thought that I was going to be having stitches the way that she came out so quick, and like I said, this time around, not having the epidural, I was just feeling a lot more this time. But yeah, ended up not having to have stitches. So recovery wise, I'm doing really well. I did end up using some really great products for postpartum, so I'm probably going to put together a video regarding all that, because I really think postpartum recovery is very important to do self-care. Yeah, so we end up doing the skin to skin after baby was born, and we had dad do the cutting of the cord, and yeah, had to do the delivery of the placenta, and that's just as brutal as well, delivering the placenta. Not a great experience. It's just painful all in all, but the pain will go away. So that's why everyone does it, everyone goes through it. And yeah, so that's pretty well my birth story, and I'm recovering super well. My little fella met Chloe, was it the day after? And it was at home because of the COVID stuff that's been happening in the world. Yeah, so we ended up introducing our little boy to our little girl at home, where he was with his nana and great nana. So yeah, we ended up doing a little meet and greet at the door. It was it was very cute. He was very unsure of where this little baby came from and why she was here, but yeah, he has adapted so well to having her in our home, and she slotted in nicely. She's doing really well, so I'm very, very blessed to have 2 beautiful healthy babies. Sorry about that, we had a slight little interruption. Someone had to have a feed, so I'm just going to keep her upright for a little bit. So hello, this is Bubby Chloe. Hello. Yes, so getting back to birth story, so that is pretty much my birth story, and yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed my story, and I'd give you a little bit of an insight to what I went through and just what someone different has gone through. And we've got a little grunter. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you hit that little notification bell so you know when I upload every new video. And yeah, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Deep breath, deep breath.